All right, here we go. Sunday night Knicks. CP from KnicksFanTV. My man CK2K in the building. Salute to all the Knicks fans out there once again. Battle of New York. Act 2 goes to the Brooklyn Nets. Knicks lose 103-101. CK, what'd you see out there, man? What happened tonight, bro?
The same thing we've been seeing for the past 3 games. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Oh my God. It's just mistake after mistake, sloppy play after sloppy play, like fake comebacks after fake comebacks.
Another fake comeback for sure, man.
Oh man, a lot. I saw a lot. How are you feeling about the game, bro?
Just disappointed once again. You know, this was a team that was missing 3 of their top dogs. Give credit where credit is due. Spencer Dinwiddie came in. He did what he had to do. Frank gave it his all in terms of his defense, but Dinwiddie was unstoppable tonight, man. There was only so much you could do. I mean, he had his way with Frank, with the team, and he willed his team to victory, shorthanded at all.
Yeah, I was saying that, and people were trying to come back. And I'm a Frank guy. I mean, if you're not a Frank guy by now, I don't know what's wrong with you. But people were coming at me when I was saying that, out of all the point guards, elite or not, Spencer Dinwiddie always finds a way to just get to the bucket, get his shots off. And they could be the worst looking shot, but he gets them in every single time against us. And you can hate him or love him.
Facts.
But he gave it to us tonight.
Hey, there's a reason he climbed his way. He grinded his way here. You know what I mean? He deserves it. But on the Knicks end, listen, we had a chance to get back into this game and win it. We had some late game heroics by Marcus Morris with about 2 minutes left. Hits about 2 back-to-back threes. We get Ellington with another 3. That puts us down 1 with a minute left. And come back on the other end, and we give up a driving layup to Joe Harris over 3 Knicks. And you just can't have that happen, man. You cannot have that happen to lose the game, and that was all she wrote, man.
Especially when the main thing that we've been hearing for the past few weeks is that our goal is to protect the paint. And look, if we gonna be giving up as many threes as we give up, we damn sure cannot be having that layup happening against us in a moment like that. And it's like I said, it's just frustrations after frustrations. We can say it's the coach, we can say whoever it is, but at the same time, the players just look sloppy to him. It's just another rough one. Just a rough
sloppy. How about free throw? How about the free throw differential? 27 for 34 for the Nets tonight. 9 of 16 for the Knicks tonight. 56% from the charity stripe. CK, when you're a team that struggles as much as we do on the offensive end, and we'll definitely get to that, you gotta convert from the stripe, man. I mean, just the ineptitude on offense, the ineptitude at the line, and the spotty defense. It's a recipe for a bad team. This is why they're 4-13 right now.
100%. And not only make them, we have to get there.
Got to
get
get there.
You said, we only shot 16 free throws.
Facts.
James Harden shoots 16 free throws by himself, night in, night out.
Like missed RJ tonight in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about RJ making and missing his free throws, but he's one of the only guys that gets the line. Now, mind you, hate or dislike Julius Randle, for those who do, he's one of the few that gets to the line when he wants to. Not tonight's not one of those nights,
right?
But it's just like we got to go towards the basket because we settle for these crazy shots. And unless your name is Marcus Morris, or I'll even give Ellington the edge tonight.
Yeah,
like we need to be getting to the basket, and we're just giving up points at the paint at the same time. So
giving up too many buckets, man. Giving up too many buckets.
Free buckets.
Free buckets. Speaking of free buckets, listen. As much as you like Frank's defense tonight, I'm not gonna put this game on him, but you got to make your wide open buckets.
He needed that.
Man.
Yeah, we needed him to hit that, and. I think it was the homie Alex in the everyone knows Alex. We know Alex. He tweeted it out, or somebody tweeted it out saying that there was a possession when that very rough possession where Marcus Morris towards the end of the game, feeling himself, goes to the basket, misses the layup, and then we gave the ball up, and then they had another opportunity to score. We saw Frank Ntilikina wide open again. And I feel like, if anything, that should have been the opportunity for him to get that shot and try it again. And you missed the one. okay, we get it. But if he misses 2 in a row, to me, that would have been a bigger deal than anything, because we know what Frank Ntilikina is at this point. He has to make that shot.
Got to make it.
But at the same time, we can't fault this game because of that, because a lot of the reason why we came back in the game had to do with him on the defensive end as well.
True story.
But
True story.
Has to make that shot.
True. You have to. The corner shot. Three, it's the easiest three in the game. He's got to make those, and he had a couple wide open buckets that you got to make. But again, we won't put it on him.
Right.
You know, I thought a big turning point of this game was the fact that in the first half, in particular the second quarter, our bench really outplayed theirs. Our bench, 100%. It was Dotson, give credit, DSJ came back and played well. Ellington gave us some good minutes on both ends, I thought. Defensively, I thought he gave a much better effort. And our bench was much more solid in the first half. Second half, give the Nets credit. They had a lineup of, I hate to say his name, but Shumpert. They brought Shumpert out of retirement for his revenge game. They had Shumpert, Musa, Jordan, Pinson. I love it. I always say Pinhead with Pinson, and they had somebody else out there. But give credit, their defense on our second unit in the second half was big, and that kind of kept us at bay in terms of trying to mount the comeback.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it kept the fire down, because at the end of the day, we did still end up coming back. But yeah, if it was the way that we looked in the first half, we probably could have pulled up and had a little bit of a lead. Yeah. But like you said, their defense were able to slow us down a little bit, keeping us, like, we tied the game, but keeping us near throughout the rest of the game. But yeah, it hurts to say, and that's the reason why our boy Mon Shumpert even closed out the game, because of his defense and doing what we all know for him to do is he plays that same. I wouldn't say same. I think I'm gonna give a little edge to Frank, but he plays that pesky defense, and that leads to these guys taking the same shots we were just talking about rather than going to the basket, because his hands are everywhere and you can't dribble when somebody's hands are all over the place. And a lot of the guys did that to close out the game for the Brooklyn Nets. So we can hate all we want, but like CP started off this whole thing saying they were missing key players, and a lot of those guys came out and they outplayed us, and we can't let that happen. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We were missing RJ Barrett, and as key as RJ has been, we got a lot of veterans on this team, and we weren't able to capitalize on a team that was weak, and that hurts us, especially being the team that they are, the Brooklyn Nets.
Facts.
So
it hurts, man. It hurts
a lot, man. A lot.
You got to get these victories, man, and it's just another game at home where we start off slow. And here's my thing. Again, I hate to nitpick on the coach because he's had a tough year, but you got to criticize where it's due and question where it's due. To me, with the starting lineup, you don't have RJ. The Kevin Knox thing, again, makes no sense. And when he made that comment, in the offseason, when he was talking about big lineups, and he was like, yeah, we may even go Kev at the 2, I was like, that sounds a little crazy. But he also wanted to give Frank some minutes at the 4 last year, and I think he did in a small sample. So once again, we have Kev at the 2. He's already struggling on both ends in his last 5 or so games. Yeah. Why would you? We already off to slow starts. Why would you put him in that position when we're desperate for a win and we got to get him as best in his comfort zone as possible? To me, that just made no sense. No sense.
Yeah. Yeah, because Dinwiddie was firing all over him in that first quarter and just making the poor kid look so bad. It just doesn't make any sense, especially like the number one thing Fizdale has been telling us and trying to put in our brains that you eat what you kill. And Knox is my guy, but let's be real, for the past, like you said, 5-6 games, Knox has not been playing well, but he's starting today at the 2 when possibly that should have gone to maybe a Dotson, maybe
even Ellington,
Ellington. You know what I'm saying? It just made no sense from top to bottom. And like you said, a lot of people getting nitpicky, and most of it might be warranted. A lot of the blame going to Fizdale, but tonight was not a great coaching effort from David Fizdale at all.
It makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. The kid is struggling, and you're going to put him in a position that he cannot succeed in. Yeah. Second of all, my problem with Kev starting is it's the fact that the problem with Frank is that he's not going to come and be a bona fide facilitator every night. And that's my problem with the offense. My problem with the offense is too many times you're not seeing him penetrate the defense, get into the teeth of the defense, create easier shots when we're struggling to shoot. A lot of the times he's coming over the half court. And again, I don't know if this is his tendencies or if this is the plays that Fizz is calling. But he's coming over the half court, immediately gives it up. Gives it to Morris, gives it to Randall. You know what I mean? DSJ did a little bit better of a job getting that dribble penetration going. But when we don't get that, the offense stagnates. Then you have Julius and Morris trying to create for themselves, play hero ball, and so on and so forth. And so with the ineffectiveness with Frank in terms of just being a consistent facilitator, I thought you should have went Dotson to start, and I think you should have closed with Frank and DSJ, because DSJ was doing a decent job getting into the defense in his minutes off the bench.
100% agree. To comment on the Frank thing, I do think it is tendency, and the problem is we don't have the personnel for that tendency, because the tendency with that, and a lot of people see it as weak, but what it is that's how you get the ball started, like the movement started. Right. You instantly get the ball up at half. The ball is supposed to keep fizzing, but the problem is we got guys like Marcus Morris or Julius Randle. So that ball goes to a Marcus Morris, the ball is held, and then the motion's over, and then Frank goes to the corner, and then we all think, Frank, you should have done da-da-da-da. I think it's more of a tendency. It's a French thing. A lot of the French guys like that. You see them play, the ball is moving. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. That ball is moving all over the place. And that's just the Frank Ntilikina type of thing.
That's his tendency, man.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we just don't have the personnel for that, because we got a bunch of dudes that want to be the hero.
Yeah, them dudes ain't moving the ball like that. You can forget it.
We don't have that rotation.
You can forget it, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, anyways, but to go back to what you said about closing, that is exactly what I was thinking. And for me to be over here talking about DSJ needing me closing the game next to Frank, that's saying a lot, because like you said, not only was DSJ hitting, like shooting, or at least being a little bit more aggressive tonight on the offensive side, on the defensive side, he was looking pretty solid, and you got to ride that, because we want a confident Dan Smith Jr. And tonight was one of those nights where it's like, you could probably play them next to each other, because yes, Frank's shot wasn't hidden, but Dan Smith Jr. was being just as aggressive. So closing with them at the same time would have been something that could have helped us out.
You've got to run smaller, and this is the problem with the force feeding of Julius. Number one, there's no accountability for him, and that's another thing with Fizz. A coach like Greg Popovich, he's gonna hold these players accountable. You saw last night, not last night, night before that, Bulls bench Zach LaVine got benched. Got benched in the fourth quarter because his coach said he was not playing good enough defense. Okay, there has to be accountability. Tonight's closers, it should have been, I would have went Frank, DSJ, either Dotson or Ellington, Morris, and Taj. Morris has got it going. I would have went Taj for the defense. You got to hold Julius a little bit more accountable, but the politics is just preventing us from doing that.
It is so. I think a lot of people are missing that part. It's literally just strictly the politics as to why he's even starting and why he's not closing. But at the same time, if we want to win and if we want to have these moments where we have Steve Mills and Perry coming out and saying these things, then Fizz needs to be like, all right, then. Well, my guy, your guy that you paid isn't playing. I'm benching him, and he's got to be held accountable. He's got to be held accountable, and I 100% agree with that. Starting that finishing five, I think I would have done Ellington because Ellington was hot. He was probably one of the main reasons why we came back in that game along with Mook. But accountability has got to be the biggest thing. But it's just I know Fizz is too scared to do it.
They're too scared to do it. Another thing on the accountability standpoint. Listen, that's my favorite player on the team, but Mitch. My two goals for Mitch this season has been durability and discipline. Hasn't been durable, and tonight he was way out in left field on the discipline angle. I mean, he had one on time, like stupid foul on Shumpert, just throwing Shumpert around, just stupid ticky tack, nonsense fouls that we didn't need. And Mitch cost us. Mitch cost us part of the game. You got to keep your head in the game. Ends up getting a technical foul at the end when he fouls out. Now, I think a lot of that was the refs, picking on him. He's a young player. The refs trying to teach him a lesson, but you got to be smarter than that, man. And you saw Taj trying to teach him, you got to be smarter than that if you're Mitch.
Disciplines to be. I mean, obviously, durability, 100%. It feels like every game he's hobbling hobbling on something.
Yeah.
Still ends up getting an alley-oop off of it, but he's hobbling, doing something. But yeah, discipline. And what game are we on now? 16, 15? I don't know what game
17.
we're on. Maybe 17. And I feel like that has been something that has not been improving. It's frustrating because they're always 75% of his fouls are stupid fouls where, he simply needs to just be his size, use his length, but he's jumping on pump fakes. He's doing intentional shoves against like Amon Shumpert or something like that. Those are the kind of things that just gets me so frustrated about who Mitch can actually be and what he's stopping himself. He's stopping himself from taking that next step because a lot of us were ready for him to be playing 25 minutes, 26 minutes, and, averaging 4 blocks a game. But because of himself, he's only at the 15-minute mark, 16-minute mark some nights.
It's not good. It's not good. So that's on Fizz as well to hold these guys accountable. And listen, like I said, man, when you struggle to score, when you can't hit free throw, when you can't even buy a free throw, and you can't defend the 3-point line as well, you struggle to defend in key moments. That's why you're a 4-13 team. They have a grueling schedule coming up. Next 5 games. You have Toronto, you have Philly, you have Milwaukee Bucks. What Fizdale say in his postgame? He said, "I can't wait."
I can't wait.
In Bart Scott voice, he said, "I can't wait." Well,
Bart, I can't wait.
Yeah. Hey,
Bart Scott.
Be careful what you wish for, man.
I'm saying, man, you survive it.
Yeah,
like that's what you should be worried about more than anything.
Gotta try to survive it, man. I think, look, like I said, at this point, this is spiraling. It's gonna get bad pretty quick. I mean, it already is bad, but it's gonna get pretty terrible. I think the one thing you could look at if you're looking at it from a holistic view is Marcus Morris is up in his trade value. December 15th it can't come soon enough. Obviously, I love him as a player, but I'm trying to get back into this first round as we approach the draft. And obviously, we need a point guard in the lottery. We got to start thinking about assets, man. And that's one thing. He's having a career year, and you got to hope that you can get back into the first round by trading him December 15th.
I 100% agree with that. And that's the thing. Everybody, it's fun and hilarious and all those kind of things to say we got to trade Randall, but again, politics, that's not gonna happen.
Never.
And unfortunately, as much as you want to keep him because of how well he's playing and the possibility of him maybe being a good piece for us on the bench as a veteran, but exactly like you just said, we got to sell high, and that's the only bet we have to get a pick to at least make this very, very bad start to a season possibly end to a season, at least get some kind of silver lining out of it and possibly getting another pick in this draft so we can boost up everything that we need, because as much as we love Frank and stuff like that, we do need a solidified point guard.
Need a bona fide point guard, man.
Yeah, and this draft has a lot of those guys in it, especially if we stay within 10. And we got to start thinking.
Need a bona fide point guard. The offense, it's just too much of a struggle to get a decent shot, to even just get a layup. You know what I mean? Just get a driving 100%. Bucket. You look on the other end, every other point guard is just in and out, weaving in and out of the lane. Dinwiddie, he's not even a true point guard. He's more of a tweener.
Right.
Weaving in and out of the lane, doing whatever he wants to do. We got to get some stability there. But that's the story, man. So next up, salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. CP from KnicksFanTV. My man CK2K filling in for Jay Ellis on this Sunday night. Knicks.
Shout out Jay Ellis.
If you're a diehard Knicks fan who loves to talk about Knicks news, Knicks rumors, and post-game live analysis featuring live callers, make sure you hit that subscribe button below and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Let me shout out some people in my chat. Lou R, what's going on? SB. We got Jack Peters in the chat. What's going on? And Jack, salute to everybody. Delano Steele, John Talento, EJ1, what's going on? Prezi the Boss, what's going on? CK2K, who you want to shout out, man?
Man, shout out to, I saw the News Next Door calling me out saying that I finally sound defeated. Leave me alone. Shout out to, like I said, Lou R. I see Jamal. I see my guy Delano as always. Keith, a lot of homies in there, man. Appreciate you guys, man.
Absolutely. Mo Cashy, what's going on? I'm going to salute some super chats. Leon Johnson, he says, we got to go to the Gauchos or the Y, get some hungry players. Salute to Michael Parker, #1 fan of the show. He says, salute to the crew. On the bright side, maybe we can land both Wiseman and LaMelo.
Bruh, don't get me excited, man. All right, that literally be KD and Kyrie part 2, bro. Don't do that to me.
Yeah, he says, Michael Parker says he's out till the All-Star break or until a coaching change.
Yeah,
man. Want to shout out one young Bale, CK. He's a Nets fan that contributes to the show. What? And he said, "Yeah, he just shows love. He appreciates the movement. He appreciates the movement. He says, CP, you're my boy, but I'm so happy we beat y'all again. Brooklyn, Jersey, born and raised Nets fan since '01. Salute to y'all. Keep pushing. Hashtag Nets. Tell Ari no net slander." So, salute to one young Bale, man.
We can't say anything. You up on us 2-0. What can we say?
Can't say
I got
nothing
for you, bro.
Can't say nothing. All right, Ari, man. He called you out, man. Let me hear something tonight. How you feeling tonight, man?
Well, I mean, this team is starting to become so hard to watch, man. Like, we lost to the Nets without LeVert or Kyrie Irving, and like, I don't know, man. I'll say this though. Again, like, we only have one player on this team that can get his own shot without like the need of an offense, and for some reason we don't play him at all, ever. And in a game where we can't score points and our offense sucks and everything, and we've lost like the last 8 out of 12 games. Why wouldn't you just put this guy in and see what happens? You have nothing to lose at this time. You have nothing to lose at this point besides putting this guy in, and I don't know why we don't put him in. I think it's a criminal offense. I think this man should be arrested for locking up ISO, dude. And I just want to know what you guys think.
Hey, I agree. I mean, listen, ISO, we know what ISO's weaknesses are as it pertains to this offense. We know what the over-dribbling, we know what the defensive lapses, but at the end of the day, CK, when we struggle like this to score, especially coming off a back-to-back on a night like this, again, I don't need all the big. One thing I didn't really expect when we got all these bigs was that they were all going to log some pretty significant minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get Portis, but he doesn't need to play every night, man. I'm sorry. Like, we don't need Portis in there every night. You could slide ISO in there for some minutes and slide everybody down. Play smaller. Yes. Play exactly smaller. We should be playing smaller, man.
Right. And watch the production out of Knox when he's playing the 4 rather than the 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll probably see a different kid out of him. I agree. I 100% agree. I was going to say, like, Bobby, like, I get you. The thing is, even with Bobby, he gives us probably half of a good quarter. Right. And then the other time he's out there, he's just there. So, I completely agree with that. Facts. Yeah, we got to take away some of those minutes from the vets. But again, that comes down to accountability, and it's Fizz the one that's going to do that. That's where it comes back down to.
Yeah, and that's the second thing I want to talk about. Like, since when does politics supersede winning? Like, so why are we taking politics? Like, Julius Randle should be coming off the bench, in my opinion. Like, I just don't understand why politics is more important than winning. And I think that's another thing that, again, it goes down to the culture of the front office. You could say what you want about Fizdale. Starting Kevin Knox at the 2 is flat out retarded, but it doesn't matter. Our roster is absolutely horrendous. We have the second worst roster in the NBA at best. And for Steve Mills and Scott Perry to come out here and say that this team should be competitive, like, the more we play, the more ridiculous that press conference sounds to me. We have 4 power forwards. They all suck. They're all overpaid to a certain extent. They all do the same thing. And not only do they suck, but they also stop the development of the younger players. That's a problem. I think at this point we have to really consider – I think we should really consider playing ISO and start giving R.J. Barrett more responsibility on the ball things, running the offense through him. They should have Julius Randle come off the bench. And then on December 15th, let's just pray that we could trade every single person on this team
that we signed.
Mitchell Robinson, R.J. Barrett, and ISO.
Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call, Ari. Well, CK, I mean, if you're going to want to try to trade a lot of these guys, then they have to play. You know what I mean? So you can't have your cake and eat it, too. You can't throw all these guys on the bench for the young guys and then expect to get, as high a return back. Like I said, Mook is giving it to you. He's going to get you something, hopefully. But I can't guarantee the rest will. Who needs Bobby Portis right now? Ellington, maybe. I mean, Peyton's not even playing. So,
bro. I think Ellington. I'm not really too worried about Ellington. I feel like if we will flip him, everyone knows what they're going to get out of him. I mean, when he has played, he's done what he's supposed to do. Look what he did against the first time he played Brooklyn tonight. I'm not worried. Ellington's probably one of the few that I'm not worried about not having any kind of what's it called? Any kind of lasting power we want to trade him away. But yeah, maybe that's what it comes down with Bobby Portis. Maybe that's why he's playing so much, to hopefully get some kind of spark out of him so we can trade him away. I honestly have no idea. But the biggest thing is exactly what you said. We got to play him if we want them to have any kind of tradability or anything like that, because that's the only way they're going to get traded. But it's just so frustrating because they slow down.
They slow down everything, man.
Oh my God, the growth and everything we saw positive last season, it's going downhill this year. From Alonzo Trier not playing at all to Knox playing the 2 when he should be. A lot of things, man. A lot of things. It's frustrating.
The Knox at the 2 thing is just like.
Makes no sense, man. Makes no sense. Watch us play him at the 4 and watch him turn into a completely different player.
He needs to be playing at the 4. And Fizz is like, Fizz says he did it to get his confidence. I'm like, how are you getting my man's confidence up when he's going to get burnt on the defensive end? If you saw his defense tonight, he was slacking off so many guys because he didn't want to get him blown past him.
Yeah.
So he's giving up 3-pointers because his defense isn't tight. Because he knows he's not a perimeter wing defender. He can't be that. You know what I mean? He's kind of stuck in between, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, there's time to see if anything comes of it, but he's not right now. That's just the short of it.
Yeah.
He's not right now, and he can't do it. I feel safer with him. I mean, even that's not the greatest, but I feel safer with him at least attempting to guard interior and sometimes guarding a stretch if that's what he has to do. Playing the 2 where you got to play in and out, weaving kind of dude, like we saw him baseline with Taurean Prince, he can't do it. So it's like, it's just frustrating, man.
Yeah.
Just frustrating.
Absolutely, man. I want to shout out Big Man Sam. He sends us a super chat. He says he's a St. John student working on a video project about rooting for the Knicks. He says, can y'all help me out? Give me a few words about what it means to be a Knicks fan and from our perspective. Yeah, yo, Big Man Sam, just email us. Email me, KnicksFanTV@gmail.com. Email me, and I'll do that for you. No, not a problem. Not a problem. We'll also want to shout out Stay Mellow checking in from Toronto, Canada. He's going to be at the Toronto Knicks game this week.
I hope it ain't too ugly for you.
I hope it ain't too ugly.
I do not feel good about that one. I'm going to be completely honest. They are playing some good basketball.
Playing some good ball. And he's got a ring, CK. My man works for the Raptors. He's a Knicks fan, works for the Raptors.
Oh, what?
And he got a ring before DeRozan got a ring. You heard about that this week, right? You heard about that?
Yeah. I did hear about that. Yeah.
What's up with that, man? Valanciunas don't get a ring.
None of those guys, man. That's
CJ
crazy.
Miles, that's crazy, man.
Crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, my man Mello, he's got a ring over there. So shout out to him. So to everybody in the chat once again, man. Let's go to Sarasota, Florida. Matt's on. He wants to talk about Marcus Morris. Matt, how you feeling, man?
Hey, let me mention Ari. I've talked about him before.
Yeah.
I'm a lot older than him. I'm a long-time Knicks fan.
Mm-hmm.
All right? I'm talking like 80s. I'm 46 years old. I played organized basketball most of my life and coached, too.
Nice.
All right? First of all, you don't trade away the one guy that's a fringe all-star and hits 7 out of 8 from downtown and impacts every single game. The Knicks have been in rebuild mode since they won 54 games. Their front office is a mess. Mills and Perry need to go. So does Fizdale. I won't lay it all on Fizdale, but Mills and Perry, as far as talent evaluation, they suck. I like Ellington. I like Morris. I think you keep him. Morris is almost averaging 20 points a game.
I hear you, Matt, but the problem, Matt, is like you got to gauge the market, man, because we're still trying to build. We're still trying to build a team.
Why? I mean, we were a 54-win team. We got rid of. If you think back to 12 and 13, just hear me out. If you think back to 12 and 13, we had Glenn Grunwald up there. He was well respected throughout the league. All-star players liked him. Okay. Isaiah Thomas, that whole scandal and all that crap. But we had guys upstairs that were well respected.
I get it. I
you
get
got
all
Larry
that,
Johnson.
Man. I get all that.
You got
man.
Larry Johnson in a community role. All right, I'll make it brief.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is that to dump Morris would be stupid. I am tired of the rebuild. This last 5-6 years has been just brutal. We need a point guard. I heard that Devin Booker might be available at the trade deadline. I don't see why you would move.
Nah, not right now, man. And appreciate the call, man. Not right now, CK. Not the way Phoenix is rolling. You're not getting Devin Booker, man.
Well, they've slowed down a little bit. They 8-7 now. Yeah, but yeah, I still don't think so.
I can't see it happen.
Here's my thing. I hear what he's saying, and that I get it. But my thing is, we, like you said, we're trying. I can't consider what we've done from, I will even go back as 2012. Nothing in between then and now, in my opinion, has been a rebuild. We've been calling what we've been trying to do a rebuild, but let's be honest, with the players and the guys and the trades and stuff that we did between then and now, that was never a true rebuild, probably until, I would say, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe the Phil Jackson draft. From then until now, I will consider what we've been attempting to do a rebuild. And that's the main reason why it's hard for me to give Perry as much hate as I have been giving Mills, because I feel like Perry has the right idea with what we should be doing. And that is that we need to stop acting like we are the big New York Knicks, the number one, that's who we are, the Knicks. We got history, we got culture. We have to, what's the word I'm looking for? We got to humble ourselves, and we got to rebuild like a small market. And doing what we did this summer, as nice as it was to get these veteran guys and everything, it kind of was a slap in the face for what we kind of saw last year with having young guys like a Mitch Robinson, who was a second-round pick, turn into, maybe 4 years down the line, he might be something great. We still don't know what Knox will be. We're seeing now that Frank Ntilikina has potential too, but all that comes from a successful rebuild when you're letting these young guys turn into the players that they're going to be when you're given opportunities. And if we say we don't trade Marcus Morris and say, all right, Marcus Morris is our guy, to me, that just stunts the growth of what we've been trying to. It just doesn't make any sense.
It stunts the growth. And by the time you're ready to even be something respectable, he's not going to give you much.
He's not going to be that guy. Right.
You're looking at over $20-something million a year. He's playing well, don't get me wrong. I love how he's playing. I'm not saying just trade him for 2 second-round picks. I'm not saying that.
Right.
Yeah, don't get rid of him just to get rid of him. But if I'm Mills and Perry, I go to him like, listen, if you're tired of the losing, we'll send you to the West. We'll send you somewhere you could have a chance to win, have a chance to compete. Maybe Milwaukee, maybe Portland. One of these teams. We'll give you a chance to go compete, and let's talk. Let's get back to the negotiating table in the summertime. You could get the best of both worlds, just like the Yankees did with Aroldis Chapman. 2 different sports, but that's my thinking.
It's the same concept.
It's the same thinking. If I can get back into the first round for this guy, whether or not I have a chance to get him back, I'm gonna do it. Because you have to be building for the future. See, Matt's it's not the rebuild that Matt's tired of. He's tired of the losing. And the problem is that we've been losing while not building properly. We've been going nowhere.
Thank you. Yes.
That's the problem.
We've been empty. We've just been losing games to lose games.
Right.
And yes,
with no direction.
With the rebuild, and we're gonna have when we draft young guys, we have a bunch of young guys, and we're still losing games. That's gonna suck because we're seeing losses. But the thing is, at least we have a foundation that's being laid. If just best case, or not even best case, my best case scenario, say we get we do a trade and we're managed to get some kind of first round pick that gets us in the top 15, gets in the lottery, and we're able to get a LaMelo and a Wiseman, RJ Barrett, to have a slew of young guys like that. Yeah, we're not gonna be good right now, but with that kind of foundation being built, 3 years from now, or even who knows what happens 2 years from now, maybe we might look like the Sacramento Kings did last year, and because we have the right amount of young dudes that are trying to turn into something right away, and that have the potential and the talent to turn into something right away. Who knows what that'll turn into? But the fact of the matter would be that we have our own foundation. We
Facts.
have our own group of guys rather than having to depend on a Kevin Durant to come to us, whether having to depend on an Anthony Davis to come to us. We have our own group of talented young guys that could possibly turn into fringe all-stars at some point, or even all-stars or superstars at some point. And that's what we need to do. We need to properly rebuild, not say we're rebuilding, but then having guys like Andrea Bargnani or Robin Lopez or
that ain't a rebuild,
Joakim Noah. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
That's not a rebuild, man.
We gotta, if we're gonna rebuild, let's do it the right way and commit to it
the right way. And unfortunately, this is we just losing to lose right now.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not what we want.
Exactly right. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. If you guys are new in the chat, leave us a hashtag new so we can shout you guys out. And throw your cities in the chat, man. Let us know where you guys are checking in from so we can shout you guys out as well.
Known.
Yeah, man. Yes, hang in there, Matt. Better days ahead, man. I feel your pain, man. Let's go to Q. Q's up next. He wants to dish on this team. Q, how you feeling, man?
What's good, fellas, man? What's good, man? Man, just depressed, man, because I hate to lose, man. I hate this losing, just like homie that just called. But points that make sense of all this, and it's just really a fact. We screwed up in the offseason because last year we had all these young guys and we looked like we were rebuilding. And then all of a sudden a guy like Iso Zoe, which is a 6-man, he's not playing at all. And the reason why is because we picked up, Randall, which, let's be honest, it just wasn't the right cut. Then you're looking at Morris. I don't know if I could trust Morris because look what he did to San Antonio. So it's one of those things where we need to go ahead and get what we can get for a guy like Morris because he's probably going to do what's best for him. And, Perry and Mills, I'm not so mad at Perry because he made good picks, last year. And then RJ fell to him, and the real judge of Perry is guys like Wooden, guys like Iggy. How are they going to do if we bring them up? So we might want to just quit this little experiment and go back to rebuilding. We bought Fizz. On my second point, we bought Fizz because he was going to attract free agents. Mm-hmm. Guess what? That didn't work. You know what I mean? They say Fizz always throws these little shots, they love me, I love them, that's my guy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, y'all cool, but y'all not that cool, okay? Let's be real. Y'all cool, you and D Wade and LeBron, y'all cool. If you was that cool with LeBron would have came to New York.
Yeah.
So, let's just stop with that. They need to, I'm going to be honest, they should cut their losses and go back to rebuilding. Let's get these young guys going. We got Randall. Hey, we made a mistake. Let's be honest. He's not built for New York. He's a Texas boy. He's from the Dallas area. I know the 411 all on him. So, sorry, Serge, but he's not built for this. He's a good kid. He's a good Christian kid. New York's a dirty place. Not to say there's not Christians.
You gotta get your hands dirty.
You know what I mean? But you gotta be dirty and nasty to be the number one option in New York. I just think we need to really just cut the experiment and just go back to the drawing board. Let these young guys play.
Okay.
We're gonna lose anyway. Our day's the future, and let's move on.
All right. Appreciate the call, Q. CK, there has to be a point where we figure out where do we draw the line? At what point do we go back into the rebuild mode? At what point do we stop chasing useless wins? You know what I mean? I think, like I said, I've said this a few times on this show in the past. When you go into free agency and you spend all that money, you're gonna play those guys, right? Yeah, like 100%. You're not gonna go to the owner and say, I want this guy. Oh, but by the way, we're not playing him. We're gonna go with the young guys because the owner's gonna fire you in a heartbeat, and he's still just me. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, there has to be some sort of transition that has to be agreed upon within the front office, or agreed upon with the owner of what they're gonna do, and then try to pass some guys off at the deadline. And see where the chips fall, But I hear everybody's want for the young guys to start playing, but you're just not gonna have a wholesale shift just like that. It's going to be a transition.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate, but that's just not how it happens. Like you said, it has to be transition because the last thing we want is then we're hearing things that we got Marcus Morris grumbling on the bench and in practice and stuff. Boom, his stock just went down. Julius Randle's upset because da. So there has to be. But the quick question you just asked, and I honestly don't have the answer, is I don't know when it is.
Yeah.
If it were me, I'm saying December 15th when everybody is officially available. Then it's like, all right, y'all tried it. Wasn't working, so I'm gonna start making this shift. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna start taking calls, like you said earlier, Marcus Morris. We can get you a situation where you play more and be on possibly a winning team. That sounds good to you, but we're right now. We tried it; it's not working. We want to run with the young guys.
Facts.
We want to run with the youth and and we go from there. But how does that work in the real world with the Knicks organization? Yeah. We'll have to see how that goes.
And hey, with the Morris thing, you never know. I mean, if his whole thing with bailing on San Antonio was obviously the money, but being closer to Philly,
family.
Hey, maybe you give him a chance to go play for something for real, and he comes back and he makes good on it, and he wants to stay here long term. You get your first round pick, and maybe you get him on a reasonable deal.
Yeah,
I would entertain it based on the price.
Me too. Like he comes back around when we might be, a little bit better. Have him come off I'm cool with that too as well. But I don't know.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Oh my god.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I want to shout out Shane Mack from New Jersey sends us a super chat. He says he wants to keep building with the kids, add more kids. And I also want to shout out Christopher Blake. He says, how much did the Porzingis trade affect the free agents coming to New York? I missed the bottom part of his comment. I didn't see. Hold on, let me scroll down and see. But he said, how much did it affect? How much did it affect us? I mean, it's hard to really tell, man.
Yeah, that's a hard question. I feel like I don't know that's a rough one.
Yeah, it's hard to say. You really won't know until a couple of years. I was talking to John Schmelk, WFAN, and we were talking about we kind of put the bow in the Porzingis thing. And listen, it's always going to be tied to how well he plays in Dallas. You got to see what those 2 first-round picks become, and you got to see how they manage his money between now and say the next 3-4 years. How do they manage that cap flexibility? Pair it with the draft picks that they will have, and how they go forward. We'll see. Time will tell.
We'll see. And I've been saying, I'm on record saying that I do not believe that those draft picks will be good for us. And we're seeing Luka right now telling us, they're not going to be good because I plan to be good.
I plan to be great.
So, we'll see. Maybe we can pick us a Mitch out of the first round or something like that.
Luka's playing phenomenal ball, man. I want to shout out Apple Fanboy checking in from Buffalo. Lou R, what's going on? Salute to Lou R. I want to shout out my guy Steve Stark. Michael M, what's going on? Robert Parrish, always in here. What's going on, Robert Parrish?
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, man. Nick Flair, what's going on, Nick Flair? How's it going? I want to shout out Sherwin M, always in here. JR Brooklyn in here. Salute to you. Greenhouse. Greenhouse says he's from Newark. He says, don't come here. Shout out everybody from the Brick City. My man said, don't come here.
Straight up.
New Jack City, for real. Shout out Joe Collins, North Preston, Canada. Not even sure where that is, but shout out Joe Collins. And, man, Childhood Time Machine, what's going on? Okay, back to the phones. Let's go to Nate from Rochester. Nate, how you feeling, man?
What's up, guys? Shout out to Jay Ellis for holding it down yesterday by himself.
Yeah, shout out Jay Ellis.
Hey, go ahead,
Jay Ellis.
Yeah, Jay Ellis curse is fake because we're still losing games.
We're still losing a ton.
That's why we're cursed.
We're still losing a ton of games, man.
But yeah, I was just gonna talk about Frank, but kind of like the conversation is like it's a lot about like the young guys now, and what I gotta say is, at one point, like, do we start questioning like the talent of these guys, or like because we can go to Fizdale and say, hey, he's not developing these players. A lot of them are regressing year to year, but it's like, do the pieces just not fit? Because all of our players, like Frank's fatal flaw is he can't like shoot or generate offense really. Kevin Knox is like he can't play defense at all. Yeah. Mitch's fouling is really bad. And some of those are correctable, maybe. But, like, you look around the league and you see all these other young teams, and their young cores are, like, balling out. And maybe we don't see their flaws because we don't watch them as much. But it's just like we're not producing wins. Like all of our young guys, besides like Dennis Smith Jr., he played pretty good today. Not gonna lie, but
yeah, DSJ was alright.
They didn't produce. They cost. Collectively, all of them cost the game. All of our veterans did what they had to do. So like, we just gotta think like, is it Fizdale that's not developing them? Is it just the fit, or like maybe these guys aren't the ones? Like I just gotta ask that question at some point.
CK, where would you go with that one, man?
I'm a huge proprietor on it is way too soon to make that call. We are on year 2 for a lot of these guys. I think on the Frank side, sure. I think you could kind of make that conversation, but if anything, if shooting is the thing that you need to improve, that to me doesn't scare me off. I think more so on the finding his own shot as a point guard. That is probably a bigger issue more than anything else. But if you told me that I have this elite defender free that's probably going to be a great defender in the league long term, but he just can't shoot, but he's only 21 years old, I'd be like, that's fine, I'll take him. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's way too soon to say that for anything. I am a little worried. Knox is my guy, but he is not really improved at all defensively. Maybe minorly, but not that much. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. That is year 2, but defense to me is something that is going to be a little bit harder to improve upon. So that worries me. Yeah. But it's too soon. Mitch, we don't know. Maybe he's probably going to, he's going to mature. That's what happens when you get older each year. You mature. It's too soon. I can't pick these guys apart on those kind of things. Look, the biggest example for me would be Brandon Ingram. I mean, Brandon Ingram, this is his 4th year in the league, now look, and he's finally turned into the player that we thought he was going to be.
Now he's turning into a monster, man.
So it's just, some guys just develop slower than others. I do think the caller was right that it's something we should think about at a point, but I just don't think now is that point. Personally.
I think a guy like a Knox left too early, man. Some of these kids just leave college way too early. They don't have the fundamentals down. They still projects. I think Knox is still very much a project, man. He's a work in progress. It's too early to tell whether or not any of these kids can be legit contributors, legit rotation pieces to this team. Right now, this is just all we have, and so it is what it is. Fizz has to make it work. This is all we have. Obviously, on a team where Marcus Morris and Julius Randle are your go-to guys, you're not going to be a good team. You know what I mean? Let's just put that out there. I mean, Marcus Morris came from a team, he was the 4th best option, and they still weren't that great. Julius Randle, he was always the 3rd guy or so. I mean, he's on his 3rd team in about 5-6 years. But, like I said, if these are your number 1 options, you're just not going to be that talented of a team. But that being said, Fizz still has to figure out a way. Like, I take the Philly game. You take the Boston game. You have games where this team plays well. They play solid together. The ball moves good enough. You have to get that consistency out of them night in, night out. You have to be better at home. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah. Do you think that's a pressure thing?
Yes,
like, absolutely. I don't want to. It has to be, right?
Absolutely, that's part of it.
I seriously had a conversation with one of my homies yesterday, and I'm just like, "Yo, we look terrible at home compared to like just that game alone. When we're watching Frank scorch the defense, but we're not in the Garden, and then we come home, he's missing a wide open shot. He's making the same moves that we see him do on the road, but they're not going in. They're either hitting the front of the rim, they're going too short." I know it's a lot of pressure to play in the Garden, but at some point maybe the last call was right. Maybe it's something we think about. But again, I'm gonna stand on it. I don't care if it's a meme at this point when it comes to Knicks fans, but it is way too soon. Yeah, these kids are too young. We don't know what like you said. I believe with Kevin Knox, he did come out too early. He came out as a kid that no one knew what he was going to be. He was a project that was on everybody's scouting report with him in the draft, was he was going to be a project player that can shoot the ball. Year 2, same thing, but he's still young. So
still young, man. He's very,
man.
very young. But yeah, I do think the pressure is cooking a lot of these kids. This is, a lot of times we want the '90s Knicks to come out. I think the big difference is that there's a lot of differences. Number one, the media landscape in this day and age is way different. Way different. We don't know what players would have been back in the 80s, 90s had they had Twitter and all these things where they're checking reactions to their game, probably even during the game, and probably even at halftime. Like, it's just a different media environment where you're always, psychologically, you have to always be thinking, what do these people think? What do these people think? It takes a different type of player that can mentally tune that out. And especially when you have a bunch of kids, this is the Fortnite generation, all these kids that we have on the team, they got to be pressing a little bit. Has to be a little bit of pressure on them for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So to everybody.
We got one of them, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. RJ's made a steal,
man. Feel good about him. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel good about him.
RJ can take it. He'll be all right, man. Yep. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Let's go to Ken from Philly. Who wants to talk about Fizz and the rotations. Ken, how you feeling, man?
What's going on, fellas?
Good. How you doing, bro?
What's up, man?
Chilling, man. Long time fan. Been watching the show. First time caller.
Thanks, bro.
Yo, what's up?
I know everybody's been killing Fizz, and don't get it twisted. I kill him sometimes too. But the one thing I did notice is with the actual roster that we have, fellas, I don't blame Fizz for trying to figure out this rotation. Because think about it. Every night, there's a different guy who just looks shaky as hell. Think about it. 1 minute, Morris is the man. Next minute, end of the game, he's frying us. Randall's turning the ball over. Dennis Smith, 1 minute, he's looking awesome. Next minute, he can't hold on to the ball, can't play no defense. 1 minute, Frank's aggressive. 1 minute, he's not. So it's basically pick of the litter when it comes to this roster. That's why I still bank on it's Mills' fault to what we got going on right now. Everyone's killing Fizz. Yeah, like I said, some of the substitutions blows my mind at times. But you're given what you got, and you play what you got, and it's not much. The other thing that I wanted to speak about, CK was talking about it, the young guys. I am ready to see some of the young guys, but I also feel like some of the guys aren't ready, like Knox. I'm not ready to see Knox play a bunch of minutes yet. Defensively, he just isn't there. I want to see Knox go to the G League and actually work on that. And with Frank, I know everyone's killing him about being aggressive and all that. I feel like next offseason, he needs to be with someone great to teach him, whether it's like a D Wade or a Kobe. I need a session with him working out with some real NBA players to help him out. I feel like our coaching staff isn't doing the most to help these guys. Because you see them training with coaching staff here and there, and they're training by themselves, but you don't see them training like some of the other young guys who are trying to be elite, training with the elite players. That's just my opinion. You guys can go ahead from there.
Okay. Appreciate the call, man. His point was kind of similar to Nate's in that, he feels like the talent just isn't there for Fizz to work with. I agree with some of that, and yeah, because you get a lot of inconsistent play from a lot of guys. When you have a team that's just middle of the road with a lot of mediocre players, it's gonna cause a coach to have difficulties with its rotations. And Fizz wasn't the first. Hornacek had issues. Woodson had issues at times. Derek Fisher had issues at times. When you don't have a solid go-to guy or guys that you can truly count on night in and night out, that's what happens. But again, on the flip side, I can't see you putting in Kevin Knox at the 2 and have sympathy for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, those sort of things just don't make sense. Period.
Yeah. At all.
Doesn't make sense.
And I'm on record not being like at the head of the fire Fizdale, but at the same time, I'm not gonna be easy on him when he's doing junk like that, starring Knox at the 2 when he's not in one of his best forms of the season right now, and even at all. Like, even if he was playing like how he started off the season, I still don't want him at the 2. because of his main issue, which is the defense. But look, yeah, to me that's just an argument. Like, yeah, I guess you could say that. You know, I saw people in the chat talking about, like, imagine putting Pop with this team. What does Pop do with it? And we could do that all we want. But at the same time, we have to remember Pop is also at the head of the whole thing, picking the players he wants to pick. So I guarantee Pop's not having this team if Pop was coaching this team.
Exactly.
But, you know, that to me, that's a damn if you do, damn if you don't argument, because there's really no answer to that question, in my opinion. You know,
I agree, man. It's a chicken or the egg type of conversation.
Oh,
man.
but there it is.
Just don't. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, man. So I think it's a little bit of everything, though. Mm-hmm. You know. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Let's go to Jersey. Jamal from Jersey. What's going on, man?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
What's up, man?
I'm all right. I'm just kind of perplexed at some of the directions some of us want to go in. You got to keep the young guys. I mean, Julius Randle was getting killed. He's 24 years old. He needs to be coached up. When D'Angelo Russell got to Brooklyn, they used to bench him. They basically destroyed them and rebuild them. You have to coach these guys up. And it happens over years because they're coming in younger. How many times we get rid of players prematurely and they go other places and flourish? That's the problem with our rebuild. By the time they're ready to be something, they got another uniform on.
True.
The problem is in-house working and developing, and Fizz putting them in a position to succeed. He's not doing that. He's just running the one system and want them to conform. Trier can't play because he pound the rock too much. Julius Randle is pounding it. Marcus Morris is pounding it. It's only one ball.
Right.
Dotson fits in better for what Fizz wants to do, moving off the ball, playing defense and offense, and he could shoot. It's like, I'm just perplexed. Like, get rid of this guy, get rid. Knox at Kentucky, he ran the baseline off screens. You got to keep Knox involved more. Not necessarily shooting all the time, but he plays better the more he's involved.
Agreed.
Now, if you play him 30 minutes or 3 minutes, he still ain't going to play no defense.
Right.
But offensively, if you look at his history, he can do certain things, but we're not running those kind of things for him. We're just running our one side-to-side, pass the ball at half-court system.
Agreed.
And it's
agreed, man.
It's frustrating.
Agreed, man. You know, the question, CK, the question for everybody in the chat is, do you trust Fizz to develop these kids? That's the question. Do you trust them to develop these kids? Right now, I'm just not so sure, man. I don't know.
Yeah, you and me both. I to be real, I had some faith coming into the season because I thought he did. That was my one saving grace for him, to be honest, coming into it. Like, I felt like he did a good job with the guys last year, you know, with the Alonzo Triers and Mitchell Robinsons, and, you know, making them look like good players. But then we were also talking about him not giving Frank a chance and this and that, and only believing in what's his name, Moutier and stuff like that. But now, no, not at all. Like, I think at this point, like, we gotta have somebody else do that and step up to, you know, get these guys on the right track.
Yeah, and listen, Fizz could just be a stepping stone, but I agree with Jamal. I'm not trying to give up on any of these kids. I'm not trading any of the kids. There's no point in doing so. Yeah, some may not shake out, and it may just be RJ and Mitch that may be the cream of this crop, and maybe the rest are just not as good as we thought.
And I love what he said about the proper use of Kevin Knox, because I feel like that's something too that's just so, you know, forgotten, is just how he was used and what got him to be a top 10 draft pick in 2 years ago. You know, he is a guy that is a high level player and on the offensive side. We all know that. But the problem is we are not playing that kind of offense. Like, imagine him with those boys in New Orleans, or imagine him with the Pelicans or with the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? And those kind of offenses where the ball is fizzing around, screens are being set for other guys, and, you know, wherever the ball lands and you're the open player, that shot's going to go in. I feel like Knox would fit in that kind of rotation so well, which is why it just makes so much sense for him to play the four with some of those guys, with the young guys, with the RJ Barretts and the Franks, you know, the guys that are willing passes, willing to move the ball, because I just feel like that's the best opportunity for him and all those guys.
Agreed. Agreed, man. Let's go to South Cac. My guy Ron Cleveland in the building. I know Ron's tight tonight, man. Ron, talk to me, man. Talk to me, bro.
Man. PK, CP.
What's good, Ron?
Man, you know it's bad. It's bad now when you go into these games and you don't even expect to win these games, man. I'm serious, man. I don't expect us to win games, man. And this team is worse than what it's been last year. It's really worse. And I had some things I wanted to talk about. First, I'm gonna start with that front office. Perry is hamstrung because of Mills. Mills is the main dog in that front office, regardless of what Mills' position is. I mean, Perry's position is. Perry's not going to be able to do nothing.
Yeah, I see a lot of people blaming Perry. I can't blame Perry for this right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't blame Perry.
I
don't blame Perry. It's Mills. As long as Mills there, Perry can't do what he needs to do. He was in Detroit. He showed that he can build a team. Yep. Now, when the one knock I got on the front office, really, if you look at it, the fact that we don't have a backup center, a true legitimate center to Mitch, is mind-boggling when you go out and get all these power forwards. And the minute Mitch get in foul trouble, our team looks different. Them guys every team start going to the basket on us because we don't have no rim protection.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's on your front office.
Yeah. Now, I think the thing with Taj is, and I like Taj, he's a good one-on-one defender, but rim protection, he's not going to give you that necessarily.
That's not his game. Right. That's not his game.
Yeah.
Now the thing with Fizdale, and I hear you guys talking about Fizdale. Lord knows we kill him enough, but let's just call it like it is. Fizdale, everybody give Fizdale too much credit for that Memphis team. That team was already in place. Lionel Hollins had that team in place. I don't give Fizz no credit for that. That team was already in place. When he was in Miami, it was a veteran team. He was just an assistant. That was more Pat Riley and Spoelstra. So, do you trust that Fizdale can develop young players? Let's just look at our young players. Dennis Smith, before he came to us, look at what he was doing in Dallas. He was way better than what he is now. He's regressed. Kevin Knox, he's regressed. Mitchell Robinson this year, without DeAndre Jordan, he's regressed. So the evidence is there. The guy cannot develop young players. Moutier, I think he gets too much credit for Moutier. As we know, point guards, it takes about 4 years before a point guard really gets right. Moutier was about on his 4th year. And he was desperate to stay in the league. So a lot of that was self-motivation. And the biggest knock on Fizdale, our team has no identity whatsoever. And you can't keep losing games at home. I don't care. He's got to go. He's got to go. It's just as simple as that, man.
I appreciate the call, Rod. Listen, I thought the identity was being formed around the defense. You know, I thought it's going to have to be. It's not going to be on offense because I don't see it. I don't see the type of system
there is
that's really going to, accentuate our strengths here. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the lack of consistent point guard play.
So, I mean, I feel like we think we know what it should be, but it's just not being seen on the court. Because remember, all they were saying was we were going to play fast, we were going to be moving the ball, which is what we should be doing. Because minus players that we can name only so many times, like we have the personnel for that kind of system, but we. At the same time, we don't have the personnel for that kind of system, so that's why we see what we see every night in, night out. So
it's the issue, man. We need a point guard bad. Shout out to Chen in the chat. We need a point guard badly. House Flan says our identity is losing home games at home. Apparently, apparently. You hit that on the head. Shout out to Ayo Emma. She says I vote for Ari and Ron's show. As people said, Ron Caller of the night, Coach Heath Carter. Yeah,
we gotta give them one night. You gotta give them a night to just let it, like Wednesdays, let them just let it fly.
Oh, you missed Battle of the Fans, bro. Battle of the Fans was jump. Oh man, we had it jumping, man. Sergio and Ari were going neck and neck over Julius Randle.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, Sergio got the first round. Ari took the second round. So we'll see. We'll see what pops off down the road. You know, we're just gonna let it come organically. You know what I mean?
I love that.
If anybody wants to jump on the line, you want to call somebody out, hey, we'll set it up right here. You know, this is for the fans by the fans, man. We don't disappoint, man. So good call by Ron. All right, let's go to the closer of the night. And the closer of the night is going to go to... Oh, we got two. We're going to go to JJ from Brooklyn first, and we'll go Clip from the Bronx. JJ, what's up?
Sounds good.
Yo, what's going on? How you guys doing, man?
How you feeling, man?
What's good, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just a couple of people actually took my point, about how our young core, if you want to call it core, they're not developing. These kids are getting worse. Knox is getting worse. Mitch is kind of staying the same. Frank is showing it, basically like every other game. I'm just saying, are you guys confident to say that these kids are going to be at least like somewhat decent pieces when we, hopefully become good down the road? Because I don't see that. I don't think those kids, maybe Frank and Mitch, if you ever learn how to stop fouling, I don't see what some people see in Knox. But I think Mitch and Frank, I'm kind of hopeful that they could become good when we're ready to turn the corner. I mean, do you guys have hope that they'll be here and be big pieces when we turn the corner?
I think RJ, Frank, and Mitch will be big pieces for us. I think once you get Frank into his proper role, I don't think it's at the starting point guard for this team. I just don't. Mm-hmm. Some nights I'm like, but if he's not gonna bring that every night, that aggressiveness every night, I don't see it because we don't have that system for him. I think ideally you want a point guard, you want to move Frank to the 2 if he's hitting his shots as a starting 2. And then you want to move RJ to the 3. I think ideally that's where you want to go, CK. I mean, what do you think about that?
Oh man, I don't know what it is. I'm not in love with Frank at 2. I think I would, if we had a starting point guard. Right now, he's our best point guard. But if we had a starting point guard, I'm cool with him coming off the bench because that was what got him the starting role was what he did with bringing the energy off of the bench. Yeah. And I like that for him. And maybe that is what he is, which there's nothing wrong with that because of his ability. You need that.
You need the defense. Yeah. Until you can get somebody better on both ends, you need his defense on the team. There's no way around it.
There's no way around that. But like you said, it's just I don't think we are playing the system that helps his game. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing. We don't have the guys around him that helps his game as well because he likes to pick and roll, but we don't got guys that pick and roll. Clyde said it perfectly against the Spurs. Like we get these half-ass screens. When we get screens, it's just like they go and they touch the player and they move off before the point guard or whoever is handling the
literally ball, they breathe on him and then bounce.
So it's hard for me to say that I can't marry that whole Frank not being a point guard thing. I'm not there yet. Until we surround him with the right kind of guys that play the right kind of system with him, but maybe we never get that, and maybe he has to play the 2. But personally, I'm just not there yet.
Yeah, the thing with the screens is like, again, is it the coach not teaching the fundamentals, or is it the player just being soft? I need that answer. I don't.
And the thing is, because we've all seen Marcus Morris screens, right, not in a Knicks jersey. I've yet to see it. I have not seen his screens that will be called offensive foul sometimes because they're that aggressive. We have yet to see that from anybody, even Taj Gibson, who was a great pick and roll. But I mean, we've seen it. Okay, I tell you about. We've seen it from time to time, but for the most part, they've been non-existent.
I mean, Philly game, they were cooking. They were cooking in the Philly game, man. But it's just not every day, man. Just not everyday consistency. All right, Clip from the Bronx. You're the closer tonight, man. Make it good. How you feeling tonight?
Hey, man, what's up? I want to give a shout-out to KnicksFanTV.
Salute, man.
And to the operator, too, man. He was really good at listening, man.
Salute to KnicksFanTV. Oh, man, you were crying to him? That's Dave on the other line. Salute to Dave, man. He said he was a very good listener, man.
Yeah, he's a good listener, man. Yo,
Clip was pouring his heart out, man.
Just in general.
Clip is a hurt Knicks fan right now. Salute to Clip, man.
Yo, it's horrible right now. I mean, I just want to let everybody know, like, don't be too disappointed. I mean, we don't really got much to look forward to anyway. You gotta look at it like, in all reality, the team sucks, bro. We have nobody. we got Marcus Morris and this guy Julius Randle having a way. It's just go time. It's green light special, and they doing whatever they want. When you got those people making those moves, you just gotta you gotta expect to suck, and that's what it is right now.
Yeah,
it's sad. I mean, we gotta make a choice between Randle or Portis, because both of them are just hurting us, and they taking away shots from my young kids. Like we got RJ standing in the corner. He's the best person breaking the defense down off the dribble. He gets to the line at will, but they holding the ball from him because they think they're the man. It's ridiculous.
It's true.
And
refusing
to pass him the ball in open situations. That gets under my skin.
That's my question again. Is it Frank? His lack of aggressiveness, or is it Fizz dialing up those plays for these guys? Like, give it to Mook, let him create. Like, I mean, you look at these end possessions. That's all it was. It was straight up ISO ball. Like, we took the ball right out of Frank's hands and went to Marcus Morris to create. Listen, he knocked down a couple. I'm not gonna just completely crap on him. He won the Dallas game, almost won the Boston game for us. He can do that, but I'd rather him get those shots in rhythm than being the primary creative for us. You know what I mean?
And I feel like that's what kills us every game is we just revert back to that hero ball at the end. We'll play the right way the majority of the game, even if we start off slow, but then we play the right way and then we get into games like tonight or against San Antonio. But then it's just it never fails that 5-minute mark hits in the fourth quarter. Julius Randle and Marcus Morris about to go in there and not look at anybody else. It's just frustrating. It all comes back to the number one thing you said, CP: accountability.
And
that is the biggest. That's the word of the
coach,
night,
man. That's 100%. You gotta hold these guys accountable. We can't be doing the same thing every single night. Cannot be doing the same thing every single night.
Until something changes, that's how every one of these games are going to end. Every night, even if it works for us and we steal a win, fine. But it's always going to end with the last 5 to 4 minutes of the game being hero ball and going out of what works for us in the games that we played well.
Agreed.
And it's just that's what frustrates me more than anything else.
Agreed, man. And on that note, CK, go ahead and sign out, my dude. Great show, man.
Hey, man, as always, you know what it is. I love coming on here, talking with you, talking with all you guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you subscribe, if you haven't, you just up here, you're Knicks fan, you just want to get your grievances out. I appreciate that too, man. Let it be known, CP's a real one. This channel's a real one. Come subscribe over to me if you want content before finish school. So the video's coming back. CK2K, check it out. But, man, we'll be all right. I hope.
I hope, man. CK, appreciate you, man. Enjoy the holiday, man. And salute to everybody that joined us, man. Hey, tough loss. Especially against the Nets. You won't always beat the bum-ass Nets, as I call them, but hey, sadly right now, Knicks is the only team looking bummy right now in this city, man. Knicks lose 103-101. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, KnicksFanTV, CK2K. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Share these videos. Those are the 3 biggest ways to support us. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Leave a comment on the video. Let us know what you thought about some of the topics, some of the caller reactions tonight. Also, remember, this show is in audio podcast format. Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Alexa, all under KnicksFanTV. The mods will put the links into the chat, but also directly below in the video description, you'll find the links as well. Also, don't forget, I want to shout out everybody once again that sent us a super chat tonight. All the super chat donations are much appreciated. Everything comes right back into the channel, building it up to be bigger and better than what's out there, whether it's equipment, whether it's new videos, new content, fresh content, on location content. It all comes back into making this show number one show for the fans, by the fans, Postgame Live. Once again, salute Sean Brown. He says, shout out CK2K. Coach East Card, appreciate it. All the mods, appreciate it. TM, Dave, Keith Sinclair, Dr. Carpy, thanks again. Muhammad Wasi, Ismail Rivas, Jack Peters, appreciate it, man. That's it. We'll check you guys Wednesday. Knicks versus Raptors. Hey, we'll see. Never know. Hang in there, people. Can see you back here. CK, I'll holler at you, man. David Delancey, appreciate it, fellas. Peace.